I'm just letting you know that a few days ago, or the last few weeks, we've done 2 interviews with an Iranian freedom fighter who was desperately calling upon the world to try help liberate Iranians, especially Iranian women. And so it appears that maybe Trump watches us because it's been liberated. So I'm not saying that Cafe Lockdown has that much of a reach, but I am saying that we have that much of an influence. Watch this.
رویایی دارم رویای آزادی رویای یک رقص بی وقفه از شادی رویایی دارم از جنس بیداری رویای تسکین این درد تکراری درد جهانی که از عشق توهی میشه درد درختی که میخشکه از ریشه درد زنایی که
It'd be great if the whole world started dancing. This is Freedom Road by David Rakuti.
رویایی دارم
There's a sign on the highway. There's a fork in the road. A lifetime of lessons learned don't mean nothing, it shows. Armchair doctor, experts making all the rules, selling us their theories while they take us all for fools. And there's nowhere left to hide on that freedom road. Don't tell me what to think, don't tell me how to live on that freedom road. Get your hand out of my pocket, I got no more to give, I got no more to give. There's a cop in the distance behind a big box tree. There's a crime being committed somewhere, but the radar gun's on me. A quiet quarter afternoon, I'm doing 105. Like a fat kid on a seesaw, all tilted to one side. And there's nowhere left to hide, and no one's putting up a fight on that freedom road. Don't tell me what to think, don't tell me how to live on that freedom road. Get your hand out of my pocket, I got no more to give, I got no more to give. Clipboard, he's just out of school. He tells me that I'm doing wrong, something he could never do. The writing in a textbook ain't no substitute for life. The rules and regulations putting up a fight. They're all just waiting round to die on that freedom road. Don't tell me what to think, don't tell me how to live on that freedom road. Get your hand out of my pocket, I got no more to give on that freedom road. Don't tell me what to think, don't tell me how to live on that freedom road. Get your hand out of my pocket, I got no more to give, I got no more to give.
Howdy, Paul.
Hey there, Michael.
Now, this is, we do the show every Sunday, but did you have something you want to say before I introduce our guest?
I just nodded off for a moment. I wondered if something new had blown up somewhere in the world. There's some basic, revelation about the actual powers that be. But no, I think we should go straight up the list.
Oh, well, the other, Albanese apparently has just made a release. He's finally come out of the closet and declared that he's heterosexual. So who knows? It's all big, exciting stuff. Anyway, we do the show every Sunday night, but we have one special friend that we both adore. We've worked a lot with her, both huge fans of her, and she's coming on tonight. She's got a huge story, but she's going to come on once a month. She comes on, and that is the fabulous Liz Gunn. How you doing, Liz?
Oh, it's lovely to see you. I have to laugh at what Paul was saying. You just turn around now for 24 hours and yeah, okay, a war started, but the main thing was Albanese flew into every pride parade around Australia, I think, didn't he? So at least he's up to date on his pride parades. And I saw him in like a little cute little, looked like it was made out of old plastic black coat material, but it was all like a little dungaree outfit. So he's obviously put thought into his outfit as well. And I think this is important that Australia's Prime Minister, while the country is basically sinking under the weight of Agenda 2030 ideology, is honouring every single Pride parade and spending that time. He's got his priorities right. I reckon he'd do that even if a war broke out. I reckon Albanese would still say, have to go to my Pride parades. It's just so crazy what's happening in the world, isn't it?
And to be honest, if he's really into it, I think we should begin. I think it's about time Australia got a sausage skinner for a prime minister. I think we're reaching that point, where we could do it.
It's just a matter of where your prime minister chooses to put his priorities. And while we laugh, the people are really struggling out there just to feed their children. And I think, I think exactly. Maybe 30 years ago, there was a need to say people who want to be gay or whatever they want to do in the bedroom, they're being oppressed, but they're not being oppressed anymore. So I don't think it's a priority. But he's going to be meeting his match, because I gather that our washed up former prime minister who ran out of here prior to the election is about to bless Australians by buying an extremely expensive, I gather, coastal property in New South Wales and go to live there because she knows she cannot live amongst us because of and this is where it gets dark, because of the enormity of the damage she has wrought to our society, to our economy, and also to the health and well-being of New Zealanders. I was just looking at a photo of a young mum, Ali, who died last year, and just before she died, she said to a friend of mine, it was that jab, wasn't it? It was that jab. And she knew as she was dying of her cancer, she knew that she'd been diddled. But meantime, Jacinda seems to have had some fat payout from somewhere. We don't know. I mean, I'm sure Pfizer wouldn't have paid out to the prime ministers who enforced that money enough to get expensive coastal properties in Australia. I hear she also has bought a farm in Hawke's Bay. This is unconfirmed, but I'd love, if this is wrong, I'd love Jacinda to open her books.
Maybe, though, she's setting
hope. She's bought somewhere in Tairua.
Maybe she's spreading hope for those who are frightened of climate change by buying an oceanfront property. She wants to meet climate change horse face on.
I just shudder, Liz, that Jacinda Horseface may be my neighbour soon. It's
You have to walk past the forest of the fallen.
it just goes to show, it's it makes me shudder. I should be accepted in. I'm sure there's a nice warm circle of satanic baby eating friends in Australia. I think you could say Australia was the other Epstein Island. It's just much bigger, much bigger. And no one's even started to dig there because that's a really deep well, and you don't want to. That's like the plumbing, So I'll shut up now.
No, what's that party? The teals in the Northern Beaches where she's been looking. The teals reign supreme, and they will love Jacinda because they'd be right down with her. Mass murder of her own people. But you do have to ask some practical questions, even if you're a massive Jacinda fan and you've gone to a movie and read her rubbish book and swallowed all the nonsense propaganda where she talks about how she's kind when she was, Orwellianly kind. She was cruel, and so she calls her kindness. But you have to ask, how did she get this money? There's no way on her prime minister's salary, even as bloated as that is, for what she did to New Zealand. There's no way she can afford multiple property purchases.
Kindness. She got it for kindness.
Right. Well, she puts new meaning to the phrase killing with kindness. She actually did kill us with her version of kindness. So kind was
I
a
shouldn't
word.
laugh at that. It's so funny though.
It's
Bro.
horrendous.
I
It's
just want to march
Orwellian.
out. We've got the marks on the wall behind us in case people have noticed. Now, what that is Cafe Lockdown has a 3,649-day ban. That's our Facebook page. We got a 3,649-day ban, and we have got through. We are about 20. Lisa, are you watching? What's the latest number, Lisa? I'll just see if Lisa's watching. She keeps tabs on the number. But a few days ago, we were down to 3,027 days. So in 27 days, we are, that's Mum and Dad. In 3,000 days, we are going to be under 3,000 days until we can start liking your funny cat videos again to give us our page back. So these are our marks. We're in the Facebook.
But by then we'll be in a whole new world of AI dominated.
God.
3,023. Lisa, you are a gem. 3,023 days to go.
Do you remember when Zuckerberg was on Joe Rogan? Like, I really wasn't. I didn't approve of all that censorship that Facebook did during the lockdowns. I'm a good guy. I'm a really caring guy. I mean, Facebook is rubbish. I'll probably get a 3,000-day ban for that. 3,000 days. That's the world to come.
3,023.
It's so healthy to laugh at it, but that is the world to come. We're talking Chinese level censorship. It's crazy. If
Also,
people don't stand up.
I just met Robin today from Courage is the Cure. We do a lot of work together, and she's given me a T-shirt for her thing, Relentless. That's for her show. So if you want to support, this is out to everyone. This is to not to Paul, but everyone in Australia now who's a podcaster. With these hate speech laws, they are now, every time we do a podcast, we're thinking, will this get us arrested? And eventually it's going to happen. So if you want to support Robin, she is relentless. She's just bangs on. She's got great content. If you want to support her because basically she's putting her neck on the line now, as we all are. This is the current state we live in.
When I went to Freedom Village, I had just found out, I think around that time, that Jacinda Ardern, who was a new young mum at that time, and she often talks about how she struggled as a new young mum, and it was very difficult to be pregnant. I think the first prime minister, I don't know, she's always the first to do something in the world, according to her. Anyway, she passed full-term abortion very, very quietly in New Zealand, which, while
she was pregnant.
I think it was just after she'd had her baby, but it was so close.
Just after she'd had the baby.
Yeah. She was a new young
baby.
mum.
You've got a baby in your arms. First baby.
Oh yeah. Well,
so the
as far
first
as we
baby
know,
is in your
her
arms,
whole
and
life's
you
alive.
pass late-term abortion.
Yep.
Talk about
Not late-term abortion. I need to let people know this. It
full-term
was such a
abortion.
shocking thing. I had a letter during the campaign in 2023 when we stood from somebody that I read out, and people were so shocked that our own Prime Minister had passed this years before. But it was, Paul, I don't know if you've ever heard of counts, and I'm not going to go into it because it makes you feel literally like throwing up. But it was talking about what it's like a full-term baby being aborted. It is the murder of a absolutely sentient human being who cannot defend themselves. And that is what Jacinda Ardern passed secretly without any consultation with New Zealanders. And so I did wear a T-shirt in Freedom Village, which may or may not have said, abort Jacinda before she goes full term. But it was purely
You are
talking
so
electorally.
right for this show. I just have to say, you fit in this show.
But it was true, because we should have got rid of that woman immediately when we began to wake up to the cruelty of her. Instead, she did a runner and hid in America and went to Harvard and went on Oprah and has done endless talk circuits talking about how she's a different style of leader. Well, boy, is she ever. We've never had anybody as evil as that at the helm of New Zealand. But, she seems to be getting away with it. And all I'll say on this, Australia, if we have inflicted her on you, we are so sorry, but we don't want it back. You have to keep her, pass her on like a rugby ball to someone else. But the second thing is, what you did to Daniel Andrews in Victoria was very appropriate. I got a lot of hope from that. When Daniel would call up a plumber or an electrician, people would come to his house and go, it's you, longest lockdown in the world in my state, ruined all my friends' businesses, ruined my family, put pressure on all of us, made us have jabs. Now, mate, I'm not going to do your plumbing. I have to ask Australians, please, go up to Jacinda, even politely, because she's still got huge security, massive security around her.
Wow.
Just go up and say, it's not okay what you did to New Zealand or to the world.
If everything was fine, why would she need that?
Yeah.
Anyway, Michael, it just because I like charts and that, I'm thinking the opposite of the index, of sociability, look, I'll come back to that forward. You'd have to see it. You'd have to see it. It's a visual thing. Yeah.
I just want to say, Liz, we've been pushing the show. I think I got a little bit wrong with it. I missed out the coroner bit. But why don't you tell us about this FOI document? Because to me, this is like, it's almost like an aircraft. We're like trying to figure out why an aircraft crashed, with the investigators. And this, to me, is that crucial. This is like, hey, hang on, this is that crucial. That's my feelings. What's your thoughts? And tell us about it.
What was it? Well, I'll give you a little preface. I talked to Andrew Bridgen, and he said virtually what you said. I think in one of your posts that you put out, Michael, if they did this in New Zealand, you can know the same pattern would have been around the world. So what did they do? There was a memorandum of understanding in, I think it was July 2020, but it was in 2020 before all this nonsense rolled out. And it was between the Ministry of Health in New Zealand, and that was headed up by Ashley Bloomfield, who told us it was safe and effective consistently and that we must take it. And it was a memorandum of understanding document with the coroner. And so this document is quite interesting, and I did choose to read out all the preface. It was about 3 paragraphs. It wasn't long, the piece I put out, but it was, spelling out there's been a serious outbreak in Wuhan, China, and this could affect our lives seriously. And then about paragraph C or D, it goes, at this stage there are 12 deaths in New Zealand, 12 deaths we think. And then there was this line that was so chilling, and it was saying, it doesn't look as if COVID will cause an increase in mortality or is highly transmissible. That was in 2020. And so I put it out and I just said, how could they have been discussing amongst themselves the truth while publicly telling us, my God, everybody panic, put on your masks. You must QR code yourselves, and we'll have urgently, we will have a jab for you soon. But in the meantime, you must all stay home and all businesses must be shut down. Oh, except liquor stores. Gyms are shut down though to keep you healthy, but you can have your liquor. And there must be no social contact, and do not talk to your neighbor, and trust us as your only source of truth. That's what Jacinda said. And it was such a lie. And it's been shown by a document from 2020, a simple freedom of information document. It's so chilling, Michael.
It's obvious that the health minister would have told everyone, or at least told those in charge. So so our health ministers and health officers would have known too. So Brad Hazzard, Paul, when you lost your you got suspended because you were attacking Brad Hazzard. He must have known that too before he went and.
Yeah, well,
I mean, it's not a long bow to stretch to think that he would have known the same information.
I was actually being very direct with Brad. I was warning him that he should be following these kids, checking that none of them die, and that if they do, that it's thoroughly investigated, because it was and I said you'll be held culpable. I don't think that's. I thought it was culpable neglected that they didn't even think to monitor it. I was saying just monitor it, because it's even one death is a signal of harm, and and I hope I'm wrong, and I hope that's true about all the other locations where children have been coerced into the shop.
If you want to think about it in a metaphor, you think about the children's story, the Emperor's New Clothes, and you think all of those people in government, the head of the Ministry of Health and Ardern and Chris Hipkins, who is still standing in our election at the end of this year. He is trying to say, hey, trust Labour, we'll put this country right. We're the ones who can really look after you. That man at one stage, drunk on power, actually put out a statement saying, wherever you are, if you're unvaccinated, we'll hunt you down. Basically, he was getting so carried away. He is standing again in our elections. This is this cocky little, shallow, venal little man is trying to be our prime minister again. And the one we have is no better, because
is that the one that looks like a Thunderbird puppet where someone cut the strings?
Yes.
Yeah.
But the Thunderbird puppet probably has more compassion for humans because it's made out of wood. And that's what this man is doing. I mean, he's just such a fraud. But you think about it, they knew that it was a fraud. So they're like the tailors in the story of the Emperor's New Clothes. The tailors came to town and they wanted to take the emperor and just con him and the whole population. So they went, oh, we have such amazing material that only the most intelligent people can see our material. And if we made you an outfit from this material, you would be the greatest emperor ever. And because the emperor is such an ego and he's gullible, and he lacks critical thinking, he goes along with it, and anybody who questions it will be off with their head. Nobody is to question these tailors, because that would be sacrilege when the emperor is the only one with the gift to see the truth. But of course, they are con men and women. And when you put together what those con men at the top, Hipkins and Ardern and Bloomfield, did with the imprimatur, with the approval of these bureaucrats who went along with the rort, and we know that Ardern granted, I think, at least 11,000 exemptions at the upper levels of government. Those people are all the tailors. They're all the con men and women going, we know it's a con, but we've got to go along with it because why? I was rung by a very wealthy pharmacist the other day who wanted to tell me that I shouldn't really be ringing you, Liz, but I've just got to keep my pharmacy going because, but don't ever use my name anywhere. And I shouldn't really be ringing you, as if I was some pariah. And she's hugely wealthy. And I wanted to say, I live on the smell of an oily rag so I can do this work for my country. Because do you know why? On the moment of my death, I want to go, I gave it my all. I gave it my all for the right side. And you could probably sell your expensive Remuera home that's like a sort of I don't know, it's like a Northern Beaches area, and you could probably have other homes you could sell. You could put something on the line for your children. And I said, instead, what will happen to your children? And she went, oh, at some point, people will stand up and it will stop. And I went, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. And if you join me and millions of others join me, it could stop now. But if we leave it to their generation, it may be too late to stop. It just may be too late. But it didn't get through, Michael. It didn't land. Yeah, it was, I've got to look after my good income. And even though they know.
At the start of this, saying the emperor had no clothes, we were saying that in the marches all the way, saying, why can't they see the emperor has no clothes? Trouble is now with Epstein Island, not only does the emperor have no clothes, but he's eating the kids. And this is where we are. We're in this crazy world now. What are your thoughts? I know Paul's been pissed off about this, and I totally understand why. What are your thoughts? And Robin, I will get back to your question. What are your thoughts on the Epstein files?
Well, I think anybody who goes into it, you have to be extremely emotionally toughened by the last 5 years. And on top of all the other traumas we've had and the abuses online and the horrendous things we've seen from even our fellows supposedly in our freedom movement, let alone the legacy media, let alone, the government. We've been through multiple layers of abuse and trauma, most of us who've stood up. I think you have to assess whether you can actually look into the detail of it. And that's hard to say because you want to always honor the stories of those who've been abused. But I wonder if the result of all of this sudden dumping is part of a design to add to the mountain of trauma that people are feeling. So be very careful if you go into some of that material, because I know I haven't looked into some of the many of the images, because there are thousands and millions of them, but I know I'm reading accounts of people who come away from that just so traumatized. So we know that it's severe satanic worship. It's the worship of the darkest forces on earth, and it is an evil beyond what most of us can imagine that involves hurting. Why do they go after children? Because these people are Satan in human form, and Satan has always wanted to wipe out God on earth. And what is the human being that in its existence is the closest to the pure form of God and pure love? What is it? It's a child.
It's babies. Yeah, the babies.
It's a baby and a child, which is why they want to abort them early on. They want to see them suffering at the very moment of birth. And it's why they want to go after them in this sick, pedophilic world, which I gather even involves Richard Branson's island as well, the nearby island. And I mean, it's just that phrase, you've got the full story when you use one phrase. It's all of them. It's all of the leaders. It's all of the Hollywood. What were you going to say, Michael?
I was going to ask Paul first, but I was going to say something. What have you been looking at it again, Paul, or did you take a break? Because last time you were really angry, and I get it, man. But what are your thoughts?
I mean, it's all mind blowing. You've got to approach with some caution. I agree, but I speculate that it's probably even worse than what I think. This is a thing that will not go away. People, even if there was one case, it should be followed and tracked down. And wow, there was one case. It's really true, but I suspect it's way worse. I hope I'm wrong, but my bigger fear is that the structures that allowed this to happen are still in place. And are we okay in living in a world where there's this class that can do anything it wants, and the rest of us? That's, to me, there's a. And apart from, it was heinous. So it's a perfect wedge issue. You're either with the satanic children eaters or you're not.
Yes.
It doesn't get much easier.
Can I ask a question? And this is just the balance in me. One, I want to know, why are they showing us them? Why? Because they never give us anything. And suddenly they've given us everything. Two, I haven't looked through everything, but I've looked through lots. I've tried to watch some of the videos. I can't watch them. They're so horrific. They really are horrific. I just can't believe people would do that to children. But then I'm thinking, none of the videos have anything to state that they're on Epstein Island. It's the ones with Epstein in, but he's not doing anything bad. But the ones where they're being brutal to children, there's no sort of way to know that it's from Epstein Island. And the CIA and the FBI must have access to a library of that sort of stuff, the amount of pedos they catch. And then I was looking through it, all the emails and everything. If you were a lawyer, Liz, I would say a prosecutor, have you seen anything that you could prosecute them upon? Because to me, everything I've seen is sort of circumstantial and almost there, but not quite there. You know what I mean? I'm just wondering if we're being played. I'm not saying it didn't. I'm just wondering if we're being like a group of starving piranhas who have been thrown a leg bone by a lamb. But
Yeah.
and to prove it, like this is it. And I'm sorry, this will be a bit offensive, so you're going to offend people out there. They're claiming that what's the talk show? Not Opera. What's the other one? No, the other one who's the cannibal one.
Cannibal one.
What's her name? No, the other one. Ellen DeGeneres. Now, Ellen
Oh,
DeGeneres, they're
yes.
claiming that she's the number one cannibal. She introduced cannibalism too. Now, I don't know how you introduce cannibalism to someone. I mean, I've been to Paul's place. We cook a few steaks, but I'm pretty sure he'd go, like, I just don't know how you'd bring up that in conversation. But two, this adrenochrome, which apparently they torture the children, because once they torture children, then the adrenochrome fills the blood, and that's what makes them feel young. Now, if she's the head cannibal, well, obviously she's eating the wrong children, because instead of looking young and beautiful, she just looks like a worn-out old lesbian. So to me, I know I'm saying, but I'm just trying to look at it logically without emotion and going, are we being played here? Is there something else they're doing? And we're also focused here on these Epstein files that they're doing something else. I don't know. So I'm just open that maybe we've been played. Maybe this is an act of kindness. I don't know.
To have at least two big wars to keep us distracted from what's going on there. I mean, that's got to be worth at least 100 million people, just to keep us going for a couple of years. And it's good business. And it's good business. They still, so much of the money has to be it has to be borrowed into existence to keep the system going, and it ends up going into weapons of war to get blown up. So that's not real value, guys.
But what are your thoughts, Liz, on what I said? Because you're a
I think
journalist.
that's really interesting. First of all, I don't think that unless you have absolutely a clear chain of evidence showing it is linked to Epstein Island itself, it could be anywhere, and a court case would fall over unless it was absolutely crystal clear that it was from that Epstein Island. And I'm sure in the other, 3 million or more files they've kept back from us, that there is, Paul, far worse evidence with those people on screen. So that needs, possibly full disclosure to the right people who can bear it. But I do say to people, be really careful what you put in your head right now, because we've had 5 coming up for 6 years of severe trauma. And think of it like this: if you were in a very dysfunctional home with a mother who got highly drunk every single night and sat at the dining table and just abused all the children around the table until they were so on edge and so in fight or flight mode they could barely think straight, you would want to absolutely minimize the stress on you. Well, that's us, these supposed leaders that we've trusted. And you talked in a post beautifully, Michael, about the social contract with our leaders around the world in the West is completely shattered. It's not just broken. It's been shattered into a million pieces. They are involved in these dangerous cults, and they are brutally cruel to us. There's nothing they won't do now, because, to mix metaphors, if you've got a rat in a corner, and it has massive teeth and it's got sharp claws and you're approaching it, it's going to do everything to try to make you feel fearful. So I think these rats are throwing every kind of trauma at us, one after the other. As Paul said at the beginning, miss it for an hour and you might have missed a whole big news story. Another war's broken out, or, there's another pandemic on the way, or there's this cannibalism that's just so overwhelming. So I think we have to be careful of our psyches. I think the people who are going to survive this period of human existence are going to be those who have ways of accessing the greatest inner peace. Now, how do you do
Yeah.
that? It's looking after yourselves so that you can then step into this and look at it and demand what needs to be done. Catherine Austin Fitz has just been on Tucker, and it's a marvelous, marvelous interview. I would recommend it to everybody. But one of the lines she uses on Tucker Carlson is, these globalist scum, they are not elites. They are absolute scum. They are the worst.
Oh, yeah, we used the wrong word. Kelly says that
the
all
worst
time.
thing. I think we call them the Epstein class now. The Epstein class, or any of these people involved in this satanic cult,
Pedivores.
they fear the guillotine. That's the phrase she used, taking it back to France. They fear the guillotine. They fear us.
Why not?
En masse, going after them and saying, you are so utterly disgusting. So my last word on Epstein is this. There is a place for investigating to whatever point you can, Epstein, like Paul is doing, but only to the point that it's not causing you more harm mentally. Because I saw a post the other day, if we let this massive drop of Epstein file information go past and look the other way, do you know they take it as tantamount to implicit consent by us?
Correct.
Okay, you can do that. We'll take that as well. And we'll try to keep going with our lives, and we'll try to just look after our families, and we'll try to just make sure we're okay. Oh, okay, now there's a war. All right, this is starting to get a bit hard to cope with. They're going, where is your line, humanity? Where is your line? It's looking from their perspective like there is nothing they can do to us anymore where we'll actually say, you pack of absolutely rotten beings. We will come after you en masse, and we will hold you accountable for the evils you're doing. And it doesn't even matter anymore how much you censor us or try to threaten us with jail. The more you jail the good ones, the more you'll just wake up others who'll go, wait a minute, that shouldn't be happening. So you're playing a dangerous game, you evil cult. And you're showing us that you are the rats in the corner, and you're petrified of us coming after you. And that's why you're throwing so much at us now. So in a way, it's a testament also to us winning, but it's a harsh win because we have to work a lot harder.
Well, I think the other thing too, though, I do think we have to just remain balanced, like detectives, and just look at what's in front of us, the evidence that they're showing us, and just be sure. Because the other thing I saw someone put the other day, these are the people who are missing every year. 20,000, little children vanish in Australia, and I thought, well, hang on. We're still searching for the Beaumont kids. When Daniel, I can't remember his second name, in Queensland, that beautiful young boy who was murdered by that pedophile, his family searched for him for years until they finally got him. There's a little kid in the bush now that went missing with the transgender grandfather. I don't think he's got anything to do with it, but he went missing. But the thing is, if kids go missing, Australia freaks out. So I find it hard to believe that 20,000 children in our country could just vanish, and there's no record of them, and no family looking for them. And maybe say the mother and the father might be, I don't know, maybe drug addicts. William Tyrrell, thanks, and hand it over. But isn't there parents or grandparents go, where's the kid? Daniel Morecambe. Yeah, sorry, I didn't remember the names, but Daniel Morecambe. I'm not saying it's not happening, but it seems like we're being fed a story. And it seems unbelievable because we've really been told to believe that Oprah Winfrey sat down with all these people. There's Ghislaine, there's Epstein, there's Oprah, there's Tom Hanks, there's Bono, and they're sitting down to a meal of people. I need to see that image to believe.
Were they at McDonald's? Because I heard somewhere there was a human content within fast food.
McDonald's. Well,
and
maybe they do something with leftovers, I don't know.
That's right. Not that I go there, but anymore. But who
now
knows?
got another.
Who
knows? Yeah. But anyway, that's all things. So it might be happening. It's this. As soon as we have one shred of real evidence, I'm the same. Kill them. These people deserve to die. Remove them like a cancerous growth from humanity.
But Michael, you think what we've already assented to, we have assented because we've allowed it, because look at our former Prime Minister who did this to us. She's
That's
now
right, Manny, mate.
she's now flitting around New South Wales looking for an extremely expensive property. And none of us know where she got that sudden influx of money from or for what she got it. So you think because they got away with what was in effect mass murder, because they got away with it and they really haven't been held to account. Chris Hipkins is blithely running in this election thinking, I got away with all of that stuff we did in the COVID pandemic. This is easy. You think people who would do that to other humans, who would potentially put known poisons, a bioweapon is what Michael Yon calls them, deep into human bodies. Well, why wouldn't they? That I think you flip it around and go, well, if they could do that,
Thanks, man.
my God, they are seriously capable of doing absolutely any horror to other humans. There is no commandment in their minds that says, do unto others the way you would have them do unto you. Treat other people the way you want to be
No,
treated.
they definitely crossed that one out.
They did. They think we're
That is
different.
gone.
Yes. It's
Now-
like, hey, get this, guys. You know the glyphosate thing? I heard that the head of Bayer that produces that poison that's really rugged on your health, terrible for you. Stop spraying it if you're on a farm. It's just not good. I mean, implications with cancer, and it should have been banned years ago. But the head of Bayer has a beautiful organic farm. You don't even need to
Does he
spray that.
really?
Yep.
Wow.
And so if
That's like
that-
Al Gore, who started all
Yeah.
the climate change. I used to have a joke that I wanted to go see what Al Gore saw about but I couldn't see the ocean because of his oceanfront mansion was in the way. So, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, come on, this is just all I'm saying is being a little critical. I'm not saying the kids aren't going missing. I'm not, but I'm saying it's too big a gift. But I just don't believe they'd give us anything unless there was something behind why they were giving us. So I don't know. I'm just being critical. Another thing that's happened. Oh, two things. I don't know. I can't verify this, but apparently Lenovo computers, who are the biggest computer producers in the world, are not using Windows anymore. They're going to use Linux when you buy a new computer. And I thought that's the way to get back at Bill Gates. Most of us have Windows on the computer. I've got a friend here, Simon. I don't know if he's watching. I might get him to help me put all my computers on Linux, and I'm going to get Windows out of my life, and because even the Windows now, Windows 11 takes a picture of you every 4 seconds or something, whatever you're doing,
Oh my God.
and apparently the phone does too, but whatever you're doing. There was even a guy the other day we saw, he hacked his own remote control vacuum cleaner. It just drives around by itself. And he hacked into it because he wanted to control it with his mobile phone. And what happened, he got access to 7,000 of these vacuum cleaners all over the world. They showed the address. They showed the floor plan of the house. And their videos worked. He could access 7,000 videos. So if you're in your house walking around in your knickers, and your vacuum cleaner's on the floor, and you're thinking, isn't that great? I don't have to do that anymore. There could be a load of people sitting there watching you, filming you, recording you. I mean, this is insane stuff. Now, but here's something for both of you to think. Now, Carl...
Michael, can you hold that thought for a second? So let's do the opposite then. Let's take it to an extreme. Everybody tomorrow morning, when you go to the bathroom after you get out of bed in the morning, take your phone and then give them the most shocking, disgusting photos of you wiping your own bottom, because maybe they will not want that. Maybe we do something so outrageous. I only say that because I remember when I was a young lawyer, I was really nervous about going in front of this judge called Mr. Justice Barker, who I came to really like actually, but he was notorious for giving new young lawyers on their first day in court, presenting their plea and mitigation to their client, really giving them the third degree so that they would grow up to be respectful of the court's rules and things. Anyway, that was what they did. But I went into the partner that I was working for, Chris, and I said, I'm really nervous about appearing in front of him. And he went, when I was a young lawyer, I found one way to calm myself down. I said, oh, what's that, Chris? And he was very respectful, this man, elderly man, lovely man. And he was like Bud, what was the actor's name? Bud Tingwell in The Castle. Really kind man, gentleman. And he said, well, I used to think, well, they're just like me. They get up in the morning and they sit on the toilet. And so when I went into court, I would picture that. So that's how we picture the judges in court to calm himself down. And I must say, I always did that. And I would still do it. I even did it in my own lawfare trial. I tried to picture this judge who found me guilty of tapping someone on the arm. Well, you're just like me, I said in my head. You sat on the toilet this morning too.
Well, not exactly like you, but they do sit on the toilet, you know. They can identify
Toilet
as you,
humour.
though. He's allowed, thanks to the EU, he can identify as you. But and Australia, just letting you know, Australia now, thanks to Albanese and all his laws, is re-identifying itself as a penal colony now. So we're going back to that. Now,
there's even the king opens his bowels, and in fact, there is even I heard today, just by chance, my mate Marty was saying something about the Spencer family. It's like they were the people in waiting for the king, and they were like the Spencers were the specialists in taking the ship. I think something like stool master.
Oh, yes, I've heard that.
The sycophants who are there, literally, your lord's third is amazing.
Because they call before they had running toilets, they called them chamber pots. So I think there is a Lord Chamber, or I don't know all the titles. There probably is a Lord of the Chamber pot.
It was Marty.
No, wait, I confess that. I interviewed someone the other day, and they were talking about the Dalai Lama, and they were working for the Dalai Lama or something, and he'd filled his toilet, he'd done for a wee, and then he went to do the toilet, and it was all yellow with wee, and he flushed it, and they freaked out. They said, "What are you doing?" His followers drink that to get. That's what they said.
Oh, that's interesting. No,
Paul,
that's a lineage. No, that's seriously a lineage in India. I heard about people who fast, and they say there's something in the urine that can help restore health. But boy,
I don't know if he replaced it with his own. If
advisement.
anyone noticed, I don't know.
Yes.
I
That's
feel
a
close to
sad
God.
story.
No, not really. I feel like I want some McDonald's. I don't know what that is.
Maybe we get away from the toilet humor, but the Dalai Lama is in the Epstein files.
I can't verify that, but this is what someone told me the other day. Now, the other thing, before we get to Iran, and the other thing is that something big has happened over here, and I did a post about it today, and a lot of people are disagreeing with me, but some are agreeing, which is nice. And Lord of the Rings is a Sam. What's his second name? What's that guy's second name? Stefanovic. Carl Stefanovic.
Carl Stefanovic, yeah.
Started doing podcasts, and he's done one with Jared Rennick, and they're talking about COVID. We've just seen the short, and Carl has said, "I apologize for getting conned by it." Now, what I'm saying is, this is what Bossy used to say. Now, I know Bossy's a controversial figure, but he used to say this. I saw him in a speech. He said, once the mainstream media openly talks about it and does what Carl said, game over. Because Carl will give permission to all those people who aren't as brave as, say, the freedom people who've been injured and know it's a rort, to speak out. And they've got these hate speech laws to silence everyone. And I'm saying there's a good chance that this comes out, Carl could be the leader of the next awakening of people who actually go, yeah, this happened to me too. So a lot of people saying he's taking over what we're doing, or he's trying, and maybe all that's true, but I still think that this is an important moment. It's basically like a little bit of victory for us. We've been banging on for this. They won't listen to us because we're anti-vaxxers, but now one of their princes, a vaccinated prince, has come out and said it was a scam. What are your thoughts?
Paul, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. The thought there's hookers in high places, but I don't know where to go.
Well,
so I'm not celebrating Carl. I don't mean to say that I'm celebrating Carl.
I wasn't thinking about Carl either. That was just the first thing that came to mind. I mean,
I agree with you, Ben.
They're propagandists, for the thing, and now they're moving. I think it is significant that we've got cookers really in high places. And it's moving into the media too, because they feel, it's safe. or like you were saying, it gives more others to come out and go, oh yeah, it was bullshit, wasn't it?
That's like the little crack that breaks the dam. And so I'm not saying we should forgive Carl, because I mean he's responsible for getting lots of people vaccinated, and I'm not saying, but I'm saying that in history this could be a pivotal moment where something really changed. Basically, he left MSN, he started his own podcast, and 3 or 4 podcasts in, he's had the Prime Minister on everything. 3 or 4 podcasts in, he's saying that he was conned and COVID was, but as far as I know, that COVID was rubbish. And I think he's going to reach a lot more people saying that than we will. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. There is
I
people
think,
that reach
yeah.
with that we can't. And so it's like a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? There's good points and bad points. I think this is one of the good points for us.
I think it raises really interesting perspectives, actually, because Carl Stefanovic, so he's left. He was on the breakfast show over there, and he's left.
I don't know if he's left or still working. I just know he's doing a podcast now.
If he's still in
Very
there
well
and he's
shot.
doing yeah. If he's doing that I would say handle with care, because if he's been put in there to
100%.
try to hurt back, but imagine if it was 100% genuine regret. If maybe he's jab injured and he wants to put it right. At that point, when he really speaks out fully, I think.
Oh no, he's still on MSN.
Oh, is he? There's a place for real forgiveness. But Matt, what were you going to say, Paul?
I mean, it'll
That's
be
fine,
interesting what
man.
his numbers are like. I'd like to know what his numbers are like. I mean, whether he's actually getting, but the fact that he's on both media, shows that they're moving into our domain to try.
Well, either ways, they see us as a threat, which means we're also having an effect, because they're coming in to try circumnavigate us, or they see us as a threat that way. The other thing, though, if he really wants to be genuine, go live, not edited, go live.
Gosh, Carl, I would love to talk to you about what's going on in New Zealand, because I'm going to put a little message in here directly to you, Carl Stefanovic. He was a really efficient, effective, young reporter in mainstream media at TV1, where I used to work, when I was meant to be the rising star there, when I was still so asleep. I mean, I was this asleep. This was around the turn of the century, and that sounds so funny, doesn't it? And 9/11 happened, and I was this asleep. I can't believe this looking back. On the day of it, I was on air, and that third tower goes down. I think I've told you this before, Michael, but I pressed the button while we were in the ad break to my director and to my producer, and said, how did that third tower go down when there was that third building go down?
Building 7,
I think it was called, when there was no plane. And the producer came back in my earpiece. Oh, Liz, don't worry about it. It would be the reverberations from the other 2 buildings falling. And I went, oh, okay. And I went back to just reading the auto cue. Now that's what they still are. You're brainwashed. You think the BBC knows. You think all the overseas feeds know. And when these journalists, who aren't journalists anymore, they're just propagandists, start to wake up one by one and go, all I'm being fed is nonsense. That will be a massive turning for the world. So, Carl, if you have gone through something with your COVID jabs, I would just love to interview you, and please contact me, because we used to work together. You were a young junior reporter in that newsroom.
That would be.
I would love that. liz.gunn@freenz.org. And I would really honor you. And truly, as I've said to other journalists and to politicians, if you would tell the truth, you would be a world hero. You'd be on Joe Rogan tomorrow morning. I really do believe that. If you came out and did a mea culpa,
worth more than the millions.
I was so wrong.
I just got
more.
to say, though, where you said about the BBC, well, the BBC did know, because I remember seeing the BBC news reporter saying the building 7 had fallen 20 minutes before it fell. It was actually behind us, still standing up. So they're really on. They're really good, the BBC. They know before it happens. That's how good they are.
I mean,
Okay.
I think that is where we have to go. Can I just read something out? Because it's amazing. When you first read this out, it was like a synchronicity, Michael. I'll just see if I can quickly bring it up. So that story about the Memorandum of Understanding that you read out about Jacinda Ardern, I thought I would reach out to a guy who is on something called, it's like your ABC. It's called Radio New Zealand. and he still fronts on there. And so I sent that bombshell thing, and I said this, Guyon Espiner, his name is. Guyon, will you be the singular legacy media journalist who finally exposes the truth? I said this only 3 days ago. Please listen to the piece and to the song at the end of the Substack. And that's funny, Michael, because it's your song, The Weeping Years. We put that on our Substack about the Jacinda Ardern Memorandum of Understanding. So this is where there's evidence that they knew, the government knew they were lying to us, and they lied anyway. So I said, please listen to the piece and to the song at the end of the Substack. Go on Free NZ Substack if you want to see Michael's song there. I put it everywhere. I put it in interviews, everything, The Weeping Years.
Oh, cool.
And then I wrote that the lyrics are all based on true stories from the last almost 6 years. When will legacy media do the right thing at last? And who will smash the wall of manufactured silence in your world? Another 31-year-old died in his sleep and was buried last week. When did 31-year-olds have heart attacks prior to this poison? Never. Because that's true. Everybody was saying, oh, no, it was because he was drinking and all these other things, or he did drugs years ago. A 31-year-old dying like that. Never.
Or he had Venetian blinds with a gap in them. That's one thing they said once. If you live in a rental and you have a gap in your Venetian blinds, it could cause premature death.
Oh,
I don't know how.
Yeah, that's it. So I then said, please call me Guyon Espiner. Read up on thalidomide. We are there again. If you break the silence and face the truth, you will be remembered. I can help this go worldwide if you would do this. The honorable thing, please. So I'm going to reiterate that message to Guyon Espiner, who was on Radio New Zealand still. Of course, I got no reply, but that's the same for you, Carl Stefanovic. Please contact me. We used to work together. I liked you a lot as a young reporter. I thought you had massive talent then, a big personality. liz.gunn@freenz.org, because we're almost there. Yeah, he's almost there.
Yeah, and I'll send this to you too, so you can upload as well. I know you're streaming text, but we'll do that as a short. That is this.
Funny coincidence you asking about that when I've just done that.
Dr. Easterhouse, did you have something you wanted to say?
I'm not punting for anything. I just think the world's really amazing at the moment. And between actual war, geopolitical rivalry, resource wars, capital wars, information wars, cognitive warfare war, genetic war, and other many AI war, which is part of cognitive war too, and just like many other tech that's all been unleashed. I think at the end of the day, there's going to be a premium on truth, and the AI that actually tells the truth will be the one that the closest to the truth, the true truth seeking, because all the others, it's like what you were talking about before. It struck me that it's like they can see everything in this image except for this massive blind spot, which is anything to do with the vaccine. And we called it the invisible elephant in the room. And I think the invisible elephant's just getting too hard for them to ignore, because bits of it keep bumping into it, and it's getting bigger.
Yeah.
So it's excellent. It's just more people get harmed, more people die in their sleep.
Too many people are dying, Paul. I mean, look, they're coming out. This is what we did. They're coming out. They see things. Turbo cancers up. Bowel cancer, breast cancer, strokes, this, and also Robin said before, people getting early onset dementia, really, and getting it really quickly and going down. I mean, basically, it's a nightmare out here. Really, everyone I meet has people who are getting sick, and it's so sad seeing them not even having the courage to admit what it could be. They're dying in a lie. They got injured by a lie, now they're dying in one. But then I just wanted to lighten up and go up from this. And before we get to Iran, so you wake up every morning now and you think, oh, what's it going to be today? Because like a Netflix show, high adrenalized Netflix show where you never know what's around the corner. And what's around the corner yesterday is Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey. Have you seen this? Just stop the comments for a sec. So that's Jim Carrey. He turned up at a French thing,
Oh
and
my
he's
God.
so loving. He's saying, I really enjoyed the show. I did this. And you're thinking, huh? And apparently he's got different color eyes. He's got blue eyes now. He's had brown eyes, you can see there. And the whole world is talking, is this Jim Carrey? Or have they done something to Jim Carrey? What are your thoughts? And that's to the people too. Do you think Jim Carrey is still Jim Carrey?
I mean, it's so insane that there's all this theorizing online that they're now cloning humans. And to be fair, going back to that time in legacy media, around that time, maybe late 1990s, I think, there was a story about a sheep. And I remember her name, Dolly the sheep. And she was cloned somewhere in Scotland. And I remember thinking, oh, isn't science amazing? Because little brainwashed Liz in mainstream media, isn't science amazing? And we can trust the scientists and they won't do anything irresponsible with this, or the fact that they're charting all the DNA. They are already doing it with animals. So how much of a leap then does it become to think, could they do it with humans? But, to be honest, even there, I blanch at all of these gut instincts. I go, no, wait a minute, Liz, you're going too far. And then I go back to the time I woke up, and I'd love to hear from you when you both fully realized that your prime minister or Daniel Andrews or whoever was in charge in your area was willing, as somebody who's a supposed leader, was willing to kill you. And that night was the night for me. Early in the morning, 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., all my research pointed to the fact that the only real explanation after all these months of research is Jacinda Ardern wants to kill off New Zealanders. And I thought, I'm going mad. I am going crazy to even think this is possible. But then over the months, every bit of evidence pointed to that. A prime minister willing to hurt and maim and kill her own people. So then you start to come up with a theory like, are people being cloned? And you tell yourself off, oh, that's crazy. And then you put bits of evidence together and go back to the seminal one, which was COVID, which was showing us the real truth of how insane these psychopaths are at the helm. And you go, no, that even is possible. Cloning of humans against that prototype that they did in COVID is possible. So is he a cloned human being? That's my, I don't know. It's so strange.
I don't know. I can't believe we're asking the question. And before we go to Iran, I think this is going to happen. They've agreed to it and they're looking forward to it, but it hasn't happened yet. So I'm just going to tell you it anyway. I have a lesbian action group coming on, and what they want to come on and talk about, and I can't believe I'm saying this, and I can't believe I'm going to do a show about it if it goes ahead, is they are protesting because they don't want men to be allowed to become lesbians.
I think that's fair enough.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I think that's fair enough. I mean,
can you believe we're having this conversation?
We're
having a conversation of lesbians defending their right not to have men being lesbians.
It's amazing.
This is where we are on the map of the world. This is where they are. They're at the point where the lesbians have to defend their right not to have men be lesbians, or men who think, and yeah, I know. I've been thinking about the whole time that it's insane. We live in insane times. And I don't know about you. I mean, but I like lesbian porn, and I prefer my lesbian porn when the lesbians don't have dicks. It's just me. I'm very old fashioned, but it's just nuts. And you just think I'm
it's
like
crazy.
it's like what's that guy Mel Blanc? Was it not Mel Blanc? The guy that wrote Frankenstein, Young Frankenstein, Mel Brooks. This great crazy.
Oh, yes.
But these guys couldn't survive now because the world is crazier than anything they could come up with.
Yeah.
There
is something called Gays Against Grooming, I think, in America. That's really
they're a great
big,
group.
and they're a great group, and they're saying all of that pedophilic stuff is clear grooming, and doesn't it make sense that the grooming and the normalizing of the craziness of it all would work with the elites who are themselves so utterly crazy? So all they can do is try to put out, here's another leader who's a man married to a man, but we're going to pretend that it's a woman, and we're going to drive you nuts with saying, Mr. and Mrs. Monsieur et Monsieur ... You guess your country.
I know.
It's
I
so
know.
crazy.
It's
But
literally that's where we
yeah,
live. And I
Yeah,
saw
they're not.
this was sent to
we
me
have to live
by
in team reality. That's the thing. But it's just
yeah.
getting hard to work out what reality is.
This was in Scotland, photographed the other day, sent to me. Thank everyone who came to the show and their support. Sorry we didn't have signs for everyone. We weren't expecting so many supporters. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, pedosexual.
Is that what they're calling it now?
LGBTP.
They're
Equality
trying
and
to
acceptance.
normalize pedophilia.
What happened to QIA plus? There were several. There was a whole alphabet.
Epstein ate the rest.
This is good.
They have an alphabet soup at the,
No,
at
this
the
is
cannibal
goodness.
parties.
This is goodness. So you see, they're simplifying it down. This is great. You know, the LBGTQIA plus plus. It didn't work from so they collapsed it down to pedosexual, which is wonderful because at least you've got a clear idea about where the team you're working with. Yeah.
And we can get arrested for this. Not them, us. We could get arrested for this. This is what they're trying to bring in.
Oh, for discussing.
For the hate speech laws, yeah. How dare you? I'm offended. I'm offended. You know. Anyway, let's get to the big ticket item of the day. Now, I've pissed a lot of people
just
off.
before you move on, if anybody tried to arrest you for that, here's the line. It is absolutely not okay to prey on or hurt or harm or sexually abuse children. It is
100%.
Absolutely not okay. And it never
100%.
will be okay. Never,
No.
never, never, never. And if any policeman turned up at your door, you have to say, by arresting me for something like this discussion, you are saying you are okay with potentially in the future your own children being subject to a pedophilic assault by a pedophile. It is not okay.
100%.
So
No.
police, you need to really think about this now when you go to arrest people and think, oh, is this good for my children? Is this going to be good for my children? I'm arresting this man for something that he said to protect my children. But if I arrest him for that, that means my children will be exposed as well. So maybe I don't stand with the government. I stand with the good people like Michael Gray Griffith and Paul.
Oh, jeez. I got to hear Ben. Hey, Ben. Ben's a great comment. In other news, apparently the French surrendered yesterday. Nobody is sure who they surrendered to yet, including the French. Now, I just want to show you this. I'll just show you this again because I just love this. So women in Iran haven't been able to dance for 47 years or show their hair. And here they are dancing in the streets. Now, to me, this is a pure symbol of freedom. These are, and we had, I've had this woman on, Mel, was born in Iran, came here when she was, I think, 13 or something. And she was talking about what it's like living there as a woman and the oppression they're going under. And we were very interested why there was no interest from the feminist movement. We were doing shows about that. And we were saying, why aren't the feminists interested in helping liberate these women? But today, of course, the women are dancing in the street because the world's greatest feminist just liberated them. And that happens to be Trump. Now, it's controversial, but they're dancing in the street because he's bombed it and told them to rise up, and they're rising up. But technically, he's liberated women. So technically, he's a feminist. And since he's the only feminist that's actually done anything, he gets the award for Feminist of the Year. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. We're sort of figuring out which is going to get me arrested. But there's on Instagram, people are like, what are you kidding? Hey, that's the truth, man. They're dancing. They're dancing. The feminist movement in the world is supporting the regime.
It's crazy.
And they're supporting the right of men to be women. So
well, it's so crazy because I do not know if it's true that they're dancing in the street. In fact, I was listening to Redacted tonight, and they were saying, a lot of this is propaganda. So we do have to,
Oh yeah, I agree.
At all points, caveat emptor, be careful what you let your mind buy, because that could be pure propaganda. I mean, it's horrific, the idea that another war will bring any peace to the world. And he is also, along with your claim that he deserves an award for feminism, he now does
I'm
get the
taking the
award
piss.
for the
Taking the
president. I
piss.
know, but he gets an award for the president who's had the most wars in one term. I think he's up to 8. So it's really confusing, Michael, because I love seeing that image. I love it. I love seeing the image of
Yeah.
how
I've got some.
horrendous to be. Yeah.
I've got some. I just want to show you this one. I'll just show it on. This is what I'm witnessing. And so what I did was I wanted to do a story on Iran, and I'd written a play for some Iraqi refugees from the first Gulf War, and she was interviewed on the news today. No, you see that about the schools? This is the last Kiwi. I interviewed Malika, and Malika told me last night they will bomb schools now. The regime will bomb schools and blame Trump. And that's exactly what they've done. So this is what I'm telling you on the last Free Kiwi. We don't know what the truth is. So I'm just going to show you this. So watch this, because Malika, so I couldn't find anyone. Weeks and weeks I was trying to find someone from Iran. And then finally Malika, who's now on the news here, she was given to me by someone, and she came on. She told us these horrific stories, and they were quite stunned. So I personally believe her story or her take, and she has links to Iran. And then I found out a lot of the people won't speak because they've got family in Iran, and they will be punished if their relatives here in Australia speak. So we're just trying to find the truth. We don't have the truth. We're just trying to find the truth, and we are surrounded. We are basically submerged in a tsunami of bullshit. So we're just trying to find the truth, which is why I got them on. But this is not bullshit. This is this just makes my heart sing. I'll just bring it up. Let's see. Wait on. Where are we? Where are we here? Where are we here? To me, this is okay. Watch this. So this is called No Hajib Day. This is the day the Ayatollah's dead.
Wow. I just got goosebumps. Yeah.
She told me that when she was 11 years old, she went to do her an exam at school. It was the final year exams, and she was wearing the full thing like that one was women, the full body covering. But underneath, she had a pale yellow dress that you could not see. She just wanted to wear it. She's a young, beautiful girl. Why wouldn't she? And they looked. They found out, and they sent her home. She wasn't allowed to finish her exams ever again, even though her whole schooling wasn't due. And it was only a small thing, but this is what she talked about, that this is the oppression. You know, there's other people getting killed and raped and all these things. But it's basically to me, there was a guy attacking me today. I've had loads of attacks today. And I said, I don't believe that a God would grant someone, gift someone such beauty only, and at the same time give instructions to man to go, I want you to take that beauty I've given for this young girl. You know, here's this beautiful young girl, and I want you to hide it. I don't want anyone else to see it. I don't believe that. I don't believe a rose would be created so it would be hidden in a box. I believe this is the oppression of women by a society that doesn't want women to be free, doesn't want people to be free, that craves control. And we're seeing it around the world. Iran's no different from Afghanistan, but in reality, it's no different from a lot of countries, even our country, where they're coming after our freedoms, which is why I think we have to talk about it now. So the thing was, and I've also done a story in West Papua, which was even worse. But what I thought was, you and I, Liz, and Paul, are always thinking, how can we get international interest in our struggle? And I thought, surely then we're obligated to listen to the struggle of others who are fighting for freedom. And that's why I reached out. So I had no idea what I was going to listen to. I went live with everything, and we heard these stories. And it's up to the listener to decide whether they think Malika was telling the truth or not. To me, I was very impressed, and my thing is to believe her. But it's up to you. We're not MSM. We're not going to tell you what to think. We're going to present this stuff to you as you do, Liz, and go, there it is. This is what we find. This is what we think, but you make the decision. And that is the benefit of freedom. You get to decide for yourself, you know? So that's why I did it. Yeah.
And in answer to your point about women and the beauty and the because there's a creativity in the way you dress. There's an expression of oneself in the colors that you choose for that day that's so poignant. This pale yellow dress, she just wanted that beautiful warmth, that little bit of realness with her in the exam, and then she was punished even for that. Here's the rub: if one person is telling another person what to do or what not to do, and and it's oppression, then you can know that it is wrong. I don't think we're put on the earth I wasn't put on this earth to tell you what to do in your bedroom or what not to do. That's why I'm not anti-trans.
100%.
None of us is anti anything.
I'm not anti-trans.
I'm pro humanity coming on earth, as you almost got to there as a metaphor, like a flower, and just going into full bloom of your talents and your inner world and your beauty, and fully expressing yourself, whatever that means. But I am absolutely not into if I choose to be transgender, that you must accept everything that I believe, because that's a form of oppression. While they're telling us how oppressed they are oppressing us. And so anything that is forced crosses the line. But go and do whatever you want in your bedroom. Just don't force your views on me, and I won't force my views on you in your bedroom. And it's the same with religion. It's
Well, it seems to me, thinking about hijabs, and what it basically does, I was imagining, let's say they said all the men have to wear hijabs. What would be your experience? You're looking out the world.
That's a brilliant idea.
And I was thinking to myself, well, we've sort of lived through that. What do you think all the COVID PPE stuff was? It was a techno hijab that they made you wear. Okay, it came from China and it was different color. And sometimes you felt like you had to dance in it for some reason. I don't know. They just loved it when you did a line dance in it. But apart from that, those rituals, we've sort of lived through something like it. I think it's wonderful if it's true that the women in Iran feel that they can take off their uniform. But I believe it when I said. I believe it when I said I want us to be free too of our hijabs, and I think we're in a society where the hijab use is going up, and where there may be pressure to wear that for women in the Australian community, which is ironic given that if it's going down in Iran itself. So those are my thoughts.
Well,
I think anything like Iran is just going to have such consequences down the track. I mean, it's crazy to do this. When does America learn? And didn't Iraq teach America anything? You or Afghanistan, you get into these huge protracted wars, and then the massive implications further down the track of huge more migration, people wanting to get out. You can't force peace through war. War is not going to bring peace. War is going to bring, I think, more division, more fear, more war. And so in that way, I don't celebrate any of what's gone on. But if that is happening, gosh, it's a hard one. As a woman, I absolutely support those women dancing. Yeah, really hard. Really hard.
This is really, really hard. And
it could just be propaganda.
We wonder what freedom is, and what freedom is I have this image here. It's my this image came out, and this is what I love about art. I'll see if I can find it. And when I saw it, I thought, I want to know what's going on. Why are they? What's this image about? Do I have it here? This one was incredible. So this girl here, I'll just open this. And like I said, I didn't know what was going to happen. So where's it come up? So I think it's this. So this woman here lit a cigarette without a hijab and burnt him. And that became a custom files, bloody Windows. Let me see if I can find it. That became this absolute beautiful work of art that I can't see at the moment. And that made me think, well, who is this? What's this image about? I was just intrigued. And that's why I went out looking, and I didn't think I'd ever find them. But this was some of the artwork that I was finding on there that was really moving me. I mean, it might be propaganda, but this is it. Here are these women. And this is the questions they're saying. That interview changed my life. I mean, I'm different now because of, here it is. This, to me, is based on that woman lighting a cigarette. This is what I saw. And I thought, what is that? And that's why I started reaching out. Now, the other thing, too, I think is important. Our countries have just had a taste of what tyranny can be like, really. Kindergarten tyranny, which is, I think we still have to be very vigilant about to make sure it stops here. But these people, that is PhD tyranny. This is where it gets to, as it always does. And so I think this is another reason to reach out to these people and communities, even ones in Africa, and just try to figure out what's going on. I want to wake up to the world. Why are we in this planet where we've got this beautiful planet spinning through this impossible soup? There's nothing else near us we can go to. And yet so many of us are just obsessed with controlling the other person. And in some countries, killing them if they don't control. It doesn't make any sense. There has to be a better way to live, and we have to talk about it, and we have to listen. And so that's why I had them on. But it changed my life. It made me. It's humbling to listen. G'day, Simon. It's humbling to listen to. And the women in Iran in the 70s, we showed images. They were like our parents in the 70s. I'll see if I've got one here. Yeah. So this is how they were.
That'll stop when the Shah went.
That's it.
Yes.
That was before the revolution,
all of this is sort of important, but it's a side issue. I think this is about Iran's importance for the BRICS nations.
Oh yeah, I get it.
And this is a showdown between Russia, China, and Iran. And at the end, Iran, not that long ago, opened a rail link between China and itself, and it's a hub point on the Belt and Road. So it's strategically, it's important. It's a high stake thing, and they've already built the infrastructure to do trade outside the US dollar, and we know what happened to Gaddafi and Saddam. When you start trading oil outside the US dollar, it's Venezuela,
Yes.
and now Iran, countries that trade in oil outside of the US dollar. I don't know. I see a pattern.
I think it's really like 10D chess that we're seeing play out, because a name you left out is Israel. That is seminal, and Israel has a massive plan to. And
within these great plans, though, to be honest, within these great plans, we might talk about it, but within these great plans and superpowers, it's very clear that we are pawns in that game. And so for me, I'm seeing pawns now in another country dancing because they've been, brutalized for 47 years. And now they're dancing. Now their future might be bleak. Our future might be bleak. But and that's why I'm very interested in just ordinary people and less interested in the powers, because I don't feel I can have much effect on that. But I like capturing the lives or the stories or the feelings or the art of the pawns who are caught up in this. The rest above us, it's like a Netflix game. Trump is like a Netflix series, and then he'll go and be replaced by someone else. Yes. Biden was one too, but he was a sick, boring one. And then he sort of changed face, Trump is like the Game of Thrones in a suit. And so, let's be honest, like even our prime minister, there's nothing we say to here is going to change. They don't listen to us. They do what the hell they want. You know what I mean? And this is where we live. But within that, we can be humans. And if we can enjoy being humans, and we can celebrate freedom and celebrate the struggles that other people do to reach freedom, it might make us value freedom more, because I've been saying to people, what's a T-shirt slogan for freedom? What's a T-shirt slogan for freedom? How can you get freedom across? Well, there you go. She did it. She's lighting a cigarette because she can smoke in public with her hair out, no hijab, burning and using her oppressor's burning image to light a cigarette. That's freedom. And so, yeah.
That's beautifully said, Michael. Beautifully
Thanks.
said.
Thanks.
I
got copyrighted out. I just read it out.
I wish I'd seen the interview so I could understand.
Oh man, I tell you, if you're going to watch the interview, the first interview, the second interview is great too, but the first interview, it'll change your life, Paul. It will change your life. You'll be sitting there in horror, and you're just in despair. It changed my life. I thought, no.
What about it? What about it changed your life? Give us a little bit more depth on that one.
Okay,
Yeah. What was it? What hit you? Yeah.
There was this girl hit me. I'll see if I can find her. So this girl was 16 years old, and she'd grown up her whole life under this regime, had to wear the hijabs and all these other stuff. And then she decided to burn it one day. And this was a few years ago. She burnt it, and then she wanted to sing an old Persian love song. So she's 16, she's released to beauty, and now she's singing a love song. So obviously she's calling for love, like a cricket singing to the universe in a forest, looking for love. And you listen to her laughter. She's alive. She just wants a life. She was caught at a protest, and according to the BBC, she was thrown in a van. There was the drivers at the front, 3 men in the back, and they basically sexually abused or raped her and then beat her to death with batons, and then threw her out in the street because the holding pens were so full of other protesters, no one they can take her. According to the story on the street, she was thrown off a building, and then when she was on the floor broken, she was raped, because the regime has a belief that virgins can go straight to heaven, and so they rape all the women to make sure they can't go straight to heaven. These are the stories we're hitting on the streets, and you've got to listen to these stories and decide what's real, what's not. We're listening to Epstein eating children. Well, this is just as awful, but this. And so this young girl changed my life. Anyway,
was that young girl? Was that the young girl the story was about?
Yeah.
You are.
Oh, she's just one of the stories. Any society that kills its young to stay in power is lost and has to be removed. They can't do that. I'm not saying that we're perfect at all. We're not. But she is a young gift from the universe, whether you believe in God, evolution, whatever. She has a right to sing, a right to dance, a right to be in love, a right to express herself. And what she was doing there was putting her life on the line to express herself. And they killed her because she wanted that right in a regime that said you can't have it. So however she died, she's now gone. And I knew nothing about this until I did this interview and started researching. And the more I looked on both sides, because I had lots of people calling me, oh no, it's the benevolent and everyone's happy over there and everything's there, everything's good. And that's why I tried to reach out to someone who knew people on the streets who could tell us from porn's point of view, not a politician's point of view. And this is what we found, and it changed my life. So to me, there's great evil in the world, and we have to fight it. We have to fight. Yeah. We have to fight, even if just to create balance.
It's really strange for me from a world of journalism that I was trained in. The minute you said the BBC said this, it was really a visceral reaction inside me that, oh, okay, so that's probably a propagandist element there. But at the same time, what we just saw was the voice of just an angelic voice. And she had the short hair, and there is a very high chance that there is truth in that story. Very high chance. How do we get to the truth? I loved what you said earlier, edging to the truth. But isn't it interesting that the minute you use the term BBC, my brain now goes to liars. It'll be a lie. It's being used to manipulate us and coerce us. So, and that is so sad, because it could be that it is a really true story, and it's probably very likely that it's a true story. God rest your soul.
I'll send you the interview.
Like that,
I'll send you the interview, Liz. But
yeah,
I'll caution
I'd love
you.
to see that.
I'll send you the interview. I'll send the first one, but I caution you, prepare yourself, because I thought I was awake, and I just felt like I was being kicked out of my slumber by people craving for freedom against impossible odds. So, yeah.
That's it's great to be upward looking and positive looking.
Yeah.
Rather than, what I filter out is when there's talk to sort of other human beings, so that they're sort of less human. This group is deserving of abuse, torture, and rape, but this other group, no, they're cool. They're the intro, because that's in warfare. That's the whole game, to other the other side and make them look somehow deserving of
Yes.
coming their way.
Yes.
So I think it's great that you're talking about the positive, and I have my filter on for anything that tries to make an excuse for war, because it's a fucking colossal mistake what's going on at the moment, moving all that military in there. It is extremely dangerous, and I think if the idea that you can actually force people to I'm dubious of this idea of just sort of taking out some of the top people, and then but maybe I'm wrong. I'm dubious that
Well, he's telling the people to rise up, isn't he? To rise up and take over their own country. So I guess the next few days will tell. Malik is coming on tomorrow, and we're going to have another chat, and we're going to play a lot of these videos of people singing. There's, I think the opening shot was that, where they're singing on trains and people coming in. And I think what's beautiful is, after all this oppression, these people aren't killing people. They're dancing. They're dancing.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? It's like the hate can't eradicate the love for life. Even after 47 years, they're dancing. I'm not saying there's all good over there. Must be all terrible things happening. But there are some people who are dancing and singing in the streets. You watch the other video. It's so, to me, this is where we find hope. I find hope in the pawns. I don't find hope in the people above us. I don't understand how it works. And I only mean above us, that they've got the money and the power. I don't understand it. There's so much I don't understand. I'm going to go to the grave just full of questions. I really am.
It's really hard. It's really hard to think of that young girl after that. That is so traumatizing. My God, that image and
it's like Anne Frank and the Jews. You need one person can symbolize an entire generation.
Well, I rest my case on propaganda. Was she propaganda? And we don't know that, because I think a relative of hers has come out and said it wasn't true. This is where we have to be so careful now. We just have to inch towards the truth.
BBC was where I got the information from this. So we got the BBC, and they wouldn't have.
I suspect Jeffrey Epstein.
It's the BBC.
I suspect Jeffrey Epstein has more chance of being alive on the beach somewhere than this girl, which is sad.
Yeah.
But,
that's horrendous. The only way I can somehow make peace with that is if we are in a series of lives, which I'm sure we are, because we make so many mistakes and hurt each other so badly. I think that those people who did that to her, there's a chance they will come back in a very oppressive world where they will be the ones in the hijabs being brutalized. And so we go. I think the
Or maybe
ones who
benches,
are
maybe.
doing the cruelty to us from the, the scum class or the Epstein class, we could call them, or the parasite class, they're not elites. They will come back. Bill Gates will suffer enormously in many future lives in order for him to learn. I mean, you think about Iran, that's the home of Rumi, the great poet. They
Poetry,
are
language.
philosophers and artists
I
and
know.
poets.
I said this on the show.
My cousin is married. She's in Melbourne now, but she's married to an Iranian doctor, and they lived here in Auckland for a while. And I remember I used to go to a restaurant called Rumi, which I highly recommend, in Parnell. And it's just Iranian food. It's beautiful. But in that restaurant, they're very cramped in tables. So you'd get talking to other tables. And they were all professors or artists or thinkers, philosophers, many of them. They were so highly educated. And these were Iranians who'd escaped to get away from the oppression.
Yeah.
God
I've met
help
them too.
Iran.
Yeah, it's a really, and maybe this is a defining moment for us as a species in what we do. Is this we're here now? Is it time for us to rise above our history and start valuing life itself? I mean, the fact that Canada has maids, they've killed over 100,000 people now. And there was a young guy they killed because he had depression. We've got full-term abortions here. I mean, all of this can be, you don't need a revolution to change all this. You just need a renovation. You just need to stand us back down to human decency, and we can start again. And for some reason, we have leaders who seem to have a completely different morality than the good majority of the people.
I mean, you think about that when Jacinda Ardern buys her house, which is where we began this discussion. That house, if you find out where it is, that house is built on blood. All these people who sell weaponry for war, their houses, their expensive lifestyle, Zelensky and the Ukrainians, they all have these expensive houses around the world. That is the blood money they've been paid for hurting and killing others. How do you live in that house? You're living on how do they ever rebuild Gaza into a place for us to go on holiday? Are you kidding me? You would go there and you're holidaying on the bones of people who've suffered so horrendously.
Just ask Jacinda. She'll tell you. It's what is it? A special kind of kindness or something?
Yeah. It's a unique one that other leaders don't understand, Paul. She's here to teach us.
Talk about killing you with kindness.
Well, didn't she go into the United Nations and say the only way to protect free speech is with censorship?
Absolutely. If Australians feel nothing else, if they think, but I think Jacinda's quite nice and she smiles and says these nice words, know that the cessation of free speech can be laid at her feet for putting out the first call. And it was a call called the Christchurch call that she cooked up with Macron, of all people. And it was after the mosque mass shootings. And there must be a whole other untold story there. Why do I know that? Because New Zealanders were never allowed any access to any of the evidence in that trial. We were never allowed to say the name of the person who supposedly did that. Therefore, you're never allowed to question any of it. When there is that much hiding around a trial, come on. These leaders only do that much hiding when they've got something to hide. And I can't say more because then they probably will knock on my door tomorrow, but there are question marks. And so she put out this Christchurch call saying, she put out this call saying we mustn't have any hate speech and we mustn't have, it was basically, we mustn't have any speech that I hate or that says that Kiwis hate me. And I think the United Nations should enforce that quickly because I'm getting quite scared in my own country because a lot of Kiwis hate me.
I'm finding it hard to smile.
Yeah.
I just want to play this. So what I did when I was researching it, I kept coming across Iranians. So I don't even know what they're posting. You know what I mean? And for Iranian people. And suddenly you found a whole swathe of them that I couldn't access before. Now I do. This has just been posted 8 hours ago. And what I'm saying is the whole world is terrified to what's happening. But if the people in Iran are doing this, maybe we shouldn't be so concerned. Maybe we should take a moment to celebrate the fact that a people, an oppressed people, are being liberated. I don't know, but look at the evidence with your eyes. This has just been posted 8 hours ago. Oh yeah, you weren't allowed to sing in public in Iran. I think we'll go out with that tonight. I think we'll go out with
That's
that. So
giving
my
me
thing
goosebumps.
is
Oof.
to say, if the people are dancing in the streets
And
maybe-
singing.
maybe this is actually a good thing. I know we're terrified because the world is all this and we could become Third World War, but that gave me great hope. And that's not the leaders giving me great hope. That's the pawns.
If we know that it is out of Iran tonight, because he was singing in French, I think, wasn't he? So we have to still question.
Yeah, I know, man. I know it's
question
hard. It's
everything.
hard. I'm sorry.
We
It's
are
so
never going to
hard.
fall for propaganda again. But I thought that was
Yeah.
beautiful. Now, guys, I do have to have a hard out at 12:45, which it is here, because at
Oh,
midnight
no, we're gone.
I'm talking to Michael Yon about all of this. So I'd love
Oh,
to know
wow.
what questions do you both have for Michael Yon about this war breaking out? And anybody who wants to post some, I'll quickly jot them down. What do you have?
Yeah, Michael is awesome.
He's great.
So and he's an expert on war, and he says
Yes.
what is it? Wars start, they grow, and then they grow uncontrollably, and then go out of control. So that's my concern too. That that there must be a reason why. And he says resources, roots, and something else.
Yes.
So he has a great.
Ideology.
So you can see all of that's at play. It's classic war questions for him. Well, yeah, why Iran? Why now? Will this embolden China with Taiwan? I don't know.
That's a good question. Yeah.
To me, it looks like the West is setting itself up for a strategic and military defeat.
Yes.
I
Very
asked
much.
a question.
And that's not going to be good for the West. And it's so to me, it feels like we're watching a train wreck.
Absolutely. And I mean, and listen, oil was what, 65 a barrel or something. It's going to open on Monday at about 89 a barrel. So I hope everybody's filling up their cars, because that's going to affect us. The Strait of Hormuz has been shut, and that's unprecedented. So I want to talk to him about that, because that's going to affect trade absolutely around the world. Yeah, Michael, what
my question is, Trump has requested that the people rise up and take back their country. Does Michael think that if the people do that and they do take back their country, that the world will leave them in charge of their own country, or will other forces come in and take over?
Yeah. And the trouble with it all, of course, is we've all experienced that as well in the last 5 years, where we might do something completely idealistically, as I did in the election, and then all these dark forces, some of them paid, some of them just jealous, but dark forces thinking only of themselves and their money and their interests, and they come and try to destroy something beautiful. And I looked at that on a small scale in New Zealand and went, oh my God, that must happen every time the light shines on this earth. There are the attacks from the darkness, but it just feels like we're in the light in this show. I love coming on this show. It just feels real and loving and truthful and brave, and it deserves to be left alone by the government that's trying to silence people in Australia, because you're very special in Cafe Locked Out, and so is the audience. It's lovely being here.
Thanks, Liz. It's a joy to have you on, my dear. I love having you on. And I love the fact you take the call. It's not like, oh, it's that hairy fella and that crazy doctor.
I gave you a heart attack tonight though, because I was doing research for Michael's show, so I didn't come on till a minute beforehand. Michael
17 seconds, actually.
Michael goes, with all the other anxiety in the world, Liz, you could have just reduced mine.
Actually, no, we were like, oh, she's late. We know you. We was like, oh, she's late. We'll just play the song and do the show.
I'm a lot better with my timing now.
Yeah. But here we are. Look, if it wasn't for COVID, we would never have met you. Look what we have. And that's what I'm saying, you know. The other thing we're going to do, I'll quickly do, we're thinking of doing, actually, no, I'll save that. That's me and Robin going. So
I was just going to say, true, Liz, we have the best audience.
Yes.
Oh, we do.
Yes. Yeah. It's gorgeous. I love seeing the comments. I have to squint.
Yeah. It's just a community. We're just a community. We're a community spread out through, well, the world now. We're just a community. We're just talking.
Beautiful.
And talking is light in these silent, dark times. That's the truth. You know,
Michael, I listen to your song, The Weeping Years. Often I listen to it in the car. There's something so exquisite about the lyrics to that. It's an amazing song. And we put it at the end of interviews and we put it on Substacks everywhere. People must be getting so sick of it, but it's so extraordinarily powerful. And I often listen and think, I wonder if this song will wake one person up today. And that's all we're trying to do with our talking. Yeah.
I like this. This is the start of the song because we're supported by the public. We've got no sponsorship at ever really, so it's supported by the public. So the public is sponsoring us. So this is a message from our sponsors. I recorded this lovely couple in Port Lincoln. Watch this.
Moving forward down the straight.
What
would you like to see happen? Moving forward down the straight. Any advice for our Prime Minister?
Quit.
I heard that.
That's great. One word.
Yeah, the face. Quit. They were such a gorgeous couple. Oh my God. There is so much fun.
On his tombstone, his epitaph reads, he should have quit.
I am going to go out with the singing.
We never quit.
I'm going to go out with the singing to end the show on a high. The Weeping Years, I love the Weeping Years too, but it's a bit of a downer. I think this is a time for hope. And who knows, these people might be dead tomorrow in the next few days. But right at this moment, they're alive and they're dancing. And I want to share the joy of their dancing after all they've been through. Paul, I love you to death, brother. Thanks for coming on. Liz, man, huge fans. Whenever you need anything, you know where we are. And
thank you guys.
Say hi to Michael.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Ask him if he wants to come in the cafe and all manners and stuff. Yeah. It'd be really cool to have him on. Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
Take
Bye,
care.
guys. Lovely
Bye-bye.
to see you. Bye.
This is the people in Iran dancing in the streets where they haven't been allowed to do. They haven't been allowed to sing and dance. The women haven't been allowed to show their hair. And here they are dancing and singing in their currently liberated streets. Good night, everyone. See you tomorrow. actually, before I go, I'm going to infect you all because I'm in a day today where I think we have to believe in love, no matter how much darkness and hate is thrown at us. So I'm going to go out with always believe in love. It's going to stick in your head. It's going to be like a virus. You're going to have to get a vaccine against this song. Good luck. See ya.
After your brother died, you didn't have to bother with me. I'd fucked up again until every bridge should have been in flames. But as I was packing up what little remained, the phone rang and it was you. And although you never spoke the actual words, what you said to me was, Michael, always believe in love. Oh, Michael. Oh, Michael. I watched you walk down my streets together, you in the front of your man, lost in your boy. You're speaking a language of pausing across the road or sorting the shopping items each will carry home. And although you have never noticed me, I can hear you both whispering. And you are whispering to me, Michael. Oh, Michael. Oh, Michael. Oh, Michael. Always believe in love. You were singing on the stage with your sisters, dancing to some rainbow fairy tale. Your voices were all small and out of time, still we pressed record and held up our candle phones. For despite the flames of our burning world, we could all hear the angels singing. Oh, Michael. 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 Always believe in love. We're alone and lost somewhere on Facebook. There's a gorilla loving a fallen human child, and we're all wrestling with shadows while wondering if inside the dark we will finally find the flower that perpetually grows. Oh, Michael. In that garden our gods call. Oh, Michael. Oh, Michael. Oh, Michael. Oh, Michael. Oh, Michael. Oh, Michael. Always believe in love.